We don't have that case studies on how to operate a prop firm properly because the whole industry is new. Whoever is surviving and survived, but especially who's surviving those last 2 years, it wasn't easy. This is pretty much new. There are no case studies on this. The only case study we have is on firms shutting down. We have no case studies on how firms are actually maintaining operations.
The space got shaken up a little bit with MFF. We had obviously MetaTrader completely leave the space. How did you guys handle it? What was your thought process going through that?
It took us 5 working days to come back. Same day I got shut down, I just rolled $1 million out. I still remember in February, Eric and I, those 5 days, we slept in the freaking office. We paid our traders more than what? Plus $80 million. I mean, in our case, we didn't even know how big funding pips is until February. We had zero idea, like, what's the total net revenue actually generated? Zero. And then when we realized, like, how big the firm is, it was like we actually built something, you know. I'm proudly can say I have zero payout denial. Zero.
What does the future look like, funding pips wise? What is it you can share with us in terms of what you guys have planned, what you're thinking of, whether it's funding pips? Is there any other projects on the horizon?
Cut this part. Actually, cut this part. So,
Number one podcast in the trading space, the fastest growing, and that's thanks to every single one of you.
Welcome everyone back to the Words of Rizdom podcast. We are back once again. We are back in Dubai. We have a very special episode with you today because we are still the number one trading podcast in the world and the fastest growing thanks to all of you and our incredible guests. And we have an exclusive today. The second time it's an exclusive, which normally isn't possible, but we'll explain that in a moment. We are here at the headquarters of Funding Pips, an incredible office, and we are here with the CEO.
The one and only.
The one and only Khaled. Thank you for doing this.
Man.
Yeah, for the second time.
Yeah, thanks for having me again.
It's my pleasure. I know we recorded about a year ago, to be fair.
Yeah.
But we just didn't manage to get that one out, and my backlog was too big. And
yeah, it was just so volatile back then, too. You know, so it's just like
definitely
gotta say I'm sorry too.
The prop firm space has changed massively since then. For better and for worse, maybe, but overall, like some really solid things. And yeah, well, I know that Funding Pips has been around for a very long time now, has done extremely, extremely well in that time. I remember the huge explosion of success last year coming onto the scene. But tell us about the origins. Like, why start a prop firm? Like, what was the mindset?
It's just a bit of like, it's a bit of a lovely story, actually, I would say. So Eric and I, we had this community. We had like an institute, etc., etc. And I was back then doing my dissertation in my uni too, which it was just like basically proving that retail trading actually can generate consistent income over the long run. So it's just not nonsense, you know. So we needed case studies for that. So we created a community, etc., etc. We built an institute, like not just like a random institute, like you had a syllabus over there, like macroeconomics, economics, economic policy, statistics, etc., etc., etc. And it started from there. So over time, we've seen some interest, and we start funding traders through our own accounts. Basically, it's just like internal transfer and the broker. You know, like 30 grand here, 20 grand here. We do competitions every month. The best performing trader, we just fund them. And then I still remember there was like a firm that actually went down and was like heavily known. It's not actually like my forex fund. Now I'm talking about like 3 years ago when we started actually building our own technology, etc., etc. And our traders were like, "Hey, guys, like help us out. You know, like why don't you build something for us, etc., etc." That's actually when we started building Funding Pips, and it was just a community-based firm. It wasn't even a commercial product or whatever. It was just like for the community itself. Just we building some traders and funding those traders. And for a different goal that we had. We still have the same goal, which is the end goal of all of this, but the whole purpose was totally different of that. And then over time, after a couple of months, we've seen actually a huge interest in the industry, and we've seen loads of gaps too. We see loads of gaps, loads of mistreatment as well too. So it's like, okay, we can maybe fill these gaps too. So we started doing our research, etc., etc. We had to push our technology more and more and more, and then okay. We good. We can actually be commercial. So we utilized a trend back then too. We jumped on that trend. We took advantage of it. And here we are.
Here we are.
Literally, here we are.
What is that goal? What is your goal with funding pips?
I'm not really sure if I should share that.
Are you someone who
But
likes...
I would definitely say, see, like, not just funding pips. So funding pips is not just a firm. It's actually a group of companies too. And our purpose is just generational legacy, you know. And we're finance people too. Like Eric and I, we studied finance. We're from finance. We like finance. We love finance too. And we wanted to build something that it can really last over generations too. And for the current time, actually, the only way to do that is through prop firm, because we needed this massive amount of data too. And at the same time, we actually traders too, and we want to benefit our traders as well too. So it's the prop firm, but the end goal of all of that is actually a hedge fund. And to really operate a hedge fund properly, you need tons of data to build models on there too. And it takes time too, because you need to build track records, etc., like proper track records, like proper fund, you know. And at the beginning, you need to risk your own money too. You need to have figures over there risking it you yourself as a small firm or whatever. Then so later on you gain the interest of maybe governments, institutions, high net worth individuals, etc. And the only way to do that, you need massive amount of data. You can't just be a trader with 5,000 trades and you want to build models over there too. And the kind of models I'm talking about, that you're talking about tons amount of data, like enormous amount of data. And that's the only way we can do that. And then you can have a proper ecosystem around all of that too. In finance. Like this is the only thing we understand is actually finance. That's the only thing we can understand is finance.
Definitely. I think that's always why it works though, is when you have that actual passion for the industry. Just as traders, I always say about traders is that if you want to be a successful trader, you have to be passionate about the market. It's not about money. If it's just money, which obviously we all want as a byproduct, but if it's just money, when you lose money as a trader, it's not, you know, your emotions
You
go all over
can't
the
really
place.
be money oriented. You can't really be focusing on that. You need to be growth oriented. And often this is not something you can learn. It's in your genes. You know, it's a way. It's a way of looking at life too. When something happens to you, how do you look at it? Me, myself, I always look at it in a positive manner. It's not like, yeah, positivity, negativity. No, okay, what I'm learning from that, what is the value coming out of that? And what is this taking me to? What is the lesson that's coming out of all of this? And where am I going with this? And this is just being a growth-oriented person too. And you can't be really a growth-oriented person while focusing on money as well too. But don't get me wrong, focusing on money, you can make $1 million, couple $1 million. Where is this gonna take you to? I mean, in our case, we didn't even know how big funding pips is until February. I'm not kidding. We were just like heads down and working. We had no idea how big the firm is. We had zero idea like what's the total net revenue actually generated. We're just working. Zero. And then when we realized like how big the firm is, it was like, fuck. Like we actually built something, you know. Like, okay, hats off, get back to work. And then we got slapped, you know. Like, okay, what are we doing? Keep working too. It's just like you need to be a growth-oriented person.
What do you think helped with the growth of funding pips? Because obviously loads of firms have come into the space, but very few have been able to do what you guys have done.
It's us. Actually, funding pips is built, it has a soul, you know. Like it's built with soul, you know. And it's us. It's the leadership of the firm too, because like we growth-oriented people too. In general, like ever since we were kids, we want to be something. We want to build. We have goals, we have visions, we have dreams, you know. And we want to do something, you know. If we want to do something, we build it with soul and we do it the best possible way we can as well too. And what contributed all of that to funding pips is our ability to adapt, our resiliency, as well the fact that we want to be better. Like we as humans, we want to be better, and often we are the people, we be the people who are required to be in that position too. So it's just like us being able to adapt and learn. Like we want to be better in general, whether funding pips or any different direction too. Whether me drifting or boxing or whatever we do, it's just I want to be better. Is this wrong? No, it's just I want to be better. Else I'm just like me, you know, and that won't contribute in nothing to. You know, it can't just like be static. I'm not a tree. Correct. Three, yeah. And this is actually what contributed in Funding Pips is us, the leadership of the firm itself, And we do hold ourselves accountable to. And we do give each other reality checks to. Like any one of us, we do give ourselves reality checks. So it's not like, yeah, I'm the owner. It's like, whatever. No. It doesn't work like that. You do need reality check. And reality check comes from qualified people around you. Why qualified is not necessarily like certificates, etc. No, it's the people actually sharing the same best interest, which is Funding Pip's best interest. So, long story, short story, that's it.
No, it's very true though, and I think it's very insightful because at the end of the day, it does take that sort of mindset. It's because you can have a growth mindset up to a certain point, but if you allow yourself to stop and get complacent, that's normally where, especially in a business like this, issues kind of rise because complacency means you're not attentive, you're not trying to grow anymore, and normally it means you get sloppy, and you end up missing parts that need to be, addressed, and constant growth needs to be there. But even generally in life, it's the same thing.
Correct.
If you take your eye off the ball and you've grown to a certain level, it happens in social media, for example, all the time. People grow. And the only reason why I think we've continued to do what we've done is because we will constantly grow. Like we've got that growth mindset that we're just constantly working on how can we build better, build smoother, build at a faster pace as well. So all of it at the same time. So you're not trying to rush. Going. Yeah.
Anything else is super irrelevant. And I'm a very competitive person too. So you just want to keep going. You can't get stuck. You can't just like be distracted as well too. You gotta keep going. Definitely. What else are you going to do? Okay, good, whatever. How many followers you have on subscribers you have on YouTube?
230.
Okay, good for you. If you don't keep going, they're gonna be 250 for the next 2 years, and your views are going to be dropping too. So you build something, you sustain it, and you keep on growing it. Else you have no story, and you have no purpose to. So it's just common sense,
Talking about being competitive though, like Funding Pips came in with a very unique offering, compared to any other firm at the time, especially even like loads of firms tried to copy or emulate to try and sort of tag on to some of that growth maybe along the way. But you guys came in really with a very affordable price point, but equally you came in with a unique sort of setup and structure to your offering in terms of not having two 200K accounts at the time, I think, or 300K accounts and so on.
Till now.
Even till now?
Yeah, we don't offer 200K accounts.
What's the mindset behind that though, coming in? Because trying to innovate isn't always easy, and sometimes people innovate in the wrong way where they do something unsustainable, but you guys are still here.
So
statistically, you have better odds of climbing Mount Everest than making consistent money from trading. Now imagine you're given a book on how to climb Mount Everest. It's written by someone who's done it, or you can train in person with someone who's climbed it themselves. If your life depended on it, which would you choose? That's the difference between information and implementation. This is why most trading courses fall short. They provide knowledge but lack real-world application. The Smart Trading Blueprint, founded by Casper SMC, is different. Not only do you learn the strategy Casper used to scale his trading to 6 figures a month, but you also get to sit with him live as he calls out trades in real time. This isn't just theory. Casper walks the talk live every day. He wasn't always successful. Casper once blew accounts like many of you, but after simplifying his approach, he's not only become a successful trader, he's retired his parents, helped hundreds of others do the same. Casper is so confident in this system, he guarantees you'll become a funded trader, no matter your experience level. Spots are limited, so click the link to apply now.
When we came in, we had one thing, which is this is built by traders for traders. I wanted to help. At the same time, I wanted to help, but now by screwing ourselves over, because if things goes wrong, it's on us. And then we're responsible for employees, responsible for families, responsible for traders. And imagine, like, I don't know, 50,000 people preying on you. It's hard. This is genuinely hard. So when we came in, we were like, okay, we want to make this accessible to everybody. Good. In a sustainable way, too. At the same time, we don't want to be greedy, too. So we run our math, run our margins, we run all of that. And okay, are we comfortable with this? Yeah, we're comfortable with this. So we progress with it. It was just, and it's the dynamic we came into. We had good relationships around. We had good people backing us, like not investors. It's actually, this is funded by us, you know. So it's like we had no seed investors, none of that. But we had like good connections in the industry too, you know. Like some people share the same mentality with us, you know, and we just progressed from there. And most important part was we're not greedy. We're not really greedy. So when we offered that offer, we weren't greedy, and it made super sense back then too. Because cost of operation was this much, especially we have our own technology, we built our own technology, we have everything in-house, we don't rely on external parties, etc., etc. So all of that made super sense for us. Yeah, well, you can argue that from a business perspective, but as well, this is actually traders driven. Like Funding Pips is actually a community-based prop firm. We didn't build a community later. No, it came out of a community and continued to be a community-based prop firm. And that's why we constantly, whatever the traders ask us for, we run the math. If it makes sense to, you know, because it needs to make sense for both parties. You have the trader and the firm, and both of them need to be equal at the same time too. If it makes sense, this side is sustainable, this side is sustainable, is good for both parties, we do it. You know, so that's the mentality actually. That's the whole mentality about Funding Pips.
What are your thoughts, though, in terms of like traders for traders? The difference with yourself.
No,
for example,
built by traders for
built
traders.
by traders.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's actually our slogan too.
Yeah.
And it's trademarked too. So all of you prop firms listening to this, stop copying that.
But one thing that's unique with yourself, though, is that you've worked in brokerages in the past, so you have experience. Because I do think that a lot of trading influencers...
Yeah, I had my training there too. I had my training there, and I'm Jordanian too. And so Jordanians are basically in the FX world or the FX industry, the dealers, all of that, you know, they're either like Jordanians or Cypriots.
Really?
Most of my friends, I studied finance in Germany, but most of my friends in Jordan actually worked in brokers. And they still actually work in brokers, or they worked in treasury departments. So when I had my training, it was so accessible for me too, because I also know loads of owners in there too. So it's just like I had the better understanding of how to operate in a broker. And when I got my internship there, and when I trained there too, it made super sense for me. Because I understand the back end of it, and I'm a trader myself to understand the front end of it too. So I understand both sections. For a long time, I ran things on my own. We started hiring people, we got bigger, we started hiring more expertise, etc., etc.
Do you feel like it's important, though, for a longevity of a firm to have that experience? So maybe not the trading side as a trader, but it helps, of course. But I think the back end side is probably definitely necessary.
Not really. See, there is something I always keep on saying. You can't build for me. If you're not a trader, you can never build for a trader. And that's my perspective. Take it or leave it. I'm a living proof, actually. Me and my firm. Good. But the back end of things actually is important, but not necessarily as much as important as being a trader too. You know, because you can always hire proper people too. And you need to be growth oriented person too, for you to even think about, I need to build this department, establish this operations, establish etc., etc. Okay, what kind of expertise do I need? You know, okay, and where do I seek this expertise? Where do I find this expertise? Because at some point you're desperate and you just hire whoever pops up in front of you. But then you learn a lesson too. And then you start like being better with reading people too, and your HR, etc., etc. So you know how to navigate all of these human resources and put them in the right places as well too. So not necessarily like for you to know exactly, but it will definitely help you. It will give you an edge, 100% too.
Definitely, because that was something I reflected on over the last year, is just having that experience. Though, like you said, it's not necessary. You can hire, right? But by having it, I think it is a huge benefit, just because it's
just easier. It makes it simpler.
Yeah.
So it just gives you an established roadmap.
Yeah.
If you don't have the experience, you need to establish that roadmap. It will cost you more time, more resources, but again, if you're a growth-oriented person, you'll just figure it out.
And then coming into the new year, obviously the space got shaken up a little bit with MFF back end of last year. And then coming into the new year, we had obviously MetaTrader completely leave the space for the most part. And it was very hectic for loads of firms.
But like, how did you guys handle it? What was your thought process going through that?
It took us 5 working days to come back, man.
Mm-hmm.
We established, as say again, we had everything in place for us. Like, we definitely operation-wise, we're not, back then we're not like the same now. It's just a huge gap between now and then. But still, like, we knew how to navigate things around. So it wasn't that tough for us. It just took us 5 working days. Because my perspective and my priority was, see, you start from here. If it's about me, I don't care. I'll take care of myself. Mm-hmm. But back then I had what? February had roughly 50 plus employees, and they have families. So these 50 individuals, they have families. And you had hundreds of thousands of traders in your firm too. They have families, they have people rely on, blah, 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 etc., etc. So it's not about me. Mm-hmm. It's not about me. So I have to be responsible for that. And my priority was, okay, how can I get funding pips back up and running in the shortest period while maintaining my payouts going out? But actually, the same day I got shut down, which was a really short notice. We got in no time, which didn't even make sense.
I think one of the shortest I've heard of.
Yeah, I don't want to even go through that. It's just done. It's done, you know. The same day I got shut down, I just rolled $1 million out. Like, $1 million, okay, pay everyone out. And don't keep people holding to. Because we're coming back. Okay, we're just renovating, you know, we're coming back too. So that was the priority, which is like, how can we come back the fastest while maintaining operations as well too? And we came back the fastest, but that's when the challenges started too. You know, getting the firm back up, different platforms, different risk engines, and we even, funding pips was here and it got doubled in no time because the way we came back to, and that was a load on our capacity. So that was another challenge too. We got slammed with our support couldn't handle that. So it was, this whole year, been nothing but a challenge. Literally. And each one of these challenges made us better too, because again, we're growth-oriented people too. We want to grow. We don't want to stay the same. We want to grow. How can we do that? Okay. And whenever you have a problem, whenever you have something happening, whenever you have gaps too, you have people complaining, okay, we'll fix it. But sometimes fixing something is not as simple as saying like, I'll fix it. It's not as reactivating your account or giving you a coupon code or running a discount or whatever. No, it's just not as simple as that. Like, sometimes you need an expert there, and you don't have the expert. You need to hire the expert, and you're looking for the expert, and even hiring the experts need to run an assessment on the department, and you don't even have the department, so the expert is actually establishing the department. So it's a work in progress, you know. Like,
how did it feel though, like going through that process? Because as you said, like, you have these challenges that are unforeseen and, you know, are really hard circumstances. You overcome that though. You do something in a record time. You then grow massively during that time. Then that overcomplicates your support. And that's, I would say, like, the nature of business as a whole, at high level, and success is like, there's always fires. There's always things to put out, always things that feel chaotic. Chaos. Yeah.
I love chaos. I just love chaos. And back then I used to, whenever I had a peaceful moment, I used to think, there is something wrong. Now it changed. My mentality changed. It's not necessarily like something, because we've been working hard. but chaos is good. Because if you have nothing wrong happening, then there is something bigger happening. So you need to find it out. So all of that just like made us establish more and more procedures, policies, departments. Like, back then, I'm telling you, in February I had 50 employees. Now I have 117. 30 of these 117, you're talking about senior managerial levels, and C-levels are actually in our headquarters under our own name, with their own visas, etc., etc. So you see, like, the drastic change we took. And when all of this drama happened in February, we were actually expanding. We're expanding heavily too. We took this office, we're renovating the office, we're relocating some of our C-levels, key employees, basically. So we're just like pushing hard too. So it's just like we need a bit of time. You know?
Yeah.
Well, we didn't have that. We didn't have the luxury of time. So everything kept slamming us because it was just support. Then payouts grew. Then it started like, okay, we don't have enough staff there to cover that on the financial side of things. And then you had payment processors, then you had operations, then you had risk, then you had, it just like kept expanding in all directions, and we kept just like solving it. I still remember in February, Eric and I, those 5 days, we slept in the freaking office. And we slept for a couple hours, just like working. Okay, what are you working on? I'm not a developer. It's not just development. There are loads of business operations happening in the middle, and you need to make sure everything is aligned, and how you're coming back. What is your plan? What is your strategy? Does this work? Etc. 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 Too. So it's loads of work in progress that you don't see from the outside when running such a high volatile business, actually, or a high volatile industry, not just a business.
Yeah.
Because this is pretty much new. There are no case studies on this. The only case study we have is on firms shutting down.
Yeah.
We have no case studies on how firms are actually maintaining operations. We have case studies on how firms are actually having that longevity too for 9 years. But hey, don't forget something. One of the biggest firms paid out what? Like, let's say, I believe 200 millions. 120 plus were last year. So that shows you that growth. That was actually in 2023 and 2024 now. So before that, there was no industry out there to actually be competing with no one. There was no, it wasn't that out there. And brokers didn't have problems with liquidity or leads or whatever. And that's why brokers start coming. It's not like we want to give you like a prop firm backed by brokers. Nonsense. It's just they want leads. And they want liquidity because like we shrank their liquidity. You look at the valuation of the prop industry. And it's so we don't have that case studies on how to operate a prop firm properly because the whole industry is new. And whoever is surviving and survived, especially those 2 years, forget about the past. That just like they were just so lucky and they came in so early too, in respect to everyone. Good. But especially who's surviving those last 2 years, and they did a freaking amazing job. Not just us. Like any firm that's still well established, running operations properly, expanding, respect to that firm too. It wasn't easy. And you don't have case studies on that. You don't have no one to teach you, to tell you, okay, this is what you do. No, it's trials and errors too. Yeah, well, you can argue like, okay, it can be run similar to a broker, but hey, there is like a major difference between this entity and this entity, or this business, or this industry and this industry. Although like there are similarities in operations as well too. So it's just like you navigating through trials and errors and knowing, then later on you will know what works and what doesn't work for you. And from there you keep going, you keep going, you keep going. You don't have, again, the luxury of time.
It is a really good point to make because I think a lot of people, it's so strange because people do it with trading as well, just as like traders, but they do it for businesses, they do it in our industry. I think they'd probably do it everywhere and you probably see it everywhere, but it's like everyone assumes everyone else should be perfect, you know? Everyone else should just do things perfectly. So when it comes to, like you said, like, there's no case study though. There's nothing to reference. There's nothing to say, this is exactly what a prop firm should look like and this is exactly how it should be ran.
No, a prop firm there is, as in like, you're talking about traditional prop firms.
Traditional, yeah.
Yeah, so it's just like, so you don't have someone commenting under
yeah, they do that. Exactly, though. Perfect speech.
Yeah.
Perfect words.
We're humans, man. I'm not an AI robot. See, I'm not Matt, you know.
I knew you were going to say that. Exactly. Yeah. But it's like such a good point because people, they have this expectation that they wouldn't hold themselves to that, right? If someone was to look at them and say, you need to be perfect, that's not possible, but they will do the same to others.
You know the saying that says, your perception of me is your perception of yourself.
Yeah.
So free me, you know. So it's irrelevant. It's super relevant. Out of a scale of 1 to 10, you're below 0. It's irrelevant. So it's that perfection. Okay, we all seek perfection, but no one is perfect. And the way you see me is not necessarily who I am, too. You just look at my actions. That's it. And again, you don't have that experience which qualifies you to give even a feedback. You don't have that experience, business-wise. Yeah. As a trader, you'll try this. You are qualified to actually give an unbiased feedback on that. You know? Not just like to try to blackmail or whatever. No. It's just like qualified, honest, objective feedback. So at least the firm will learn from your feedback. It's just not nonsense to you. So this, you're not qualified to give a business feedback. Like, what did you run before? Give me one of the achievements you've done. Because like, it's one thing me criticizing you, and one thing me giving you proper feedback, and one thing me actually trying to help you out. Okay, so if I'm trying to do any of these three, where are you and where I am? What did you do? What did I do? What is the similarity between both of us? Are you doing better than me operation-wise? Are you running a business? Are you just like there, So
it's so important.
It's boring.
But during that time, though, it was interesting because obviously I was more just observing. Like I didn't message you or anything during that time. So I wasn't like chatting or trying to find out like what's going on or what do you think to this or anything like that. But during that time, say from a social media perspective or like just trying to watch what's going on, it seemed very chaotic, of course. As you mentioned, like you needed to upscale operations and support and so on. But now I would say quite, it's done very, very well. And it's all worked out so far. And I know you said like you've always got the growth mindset, so I'm sure there's more to come. But now I think you've come out the other end from what I can see. I don't know how you feel. Like it seems like, nothing's really being said online. You're running smoothly.
I feel happy and comfortable.
Yeah.
Like, I'm always comfortable, but like I feel established.
Yeah.
Like this is the word actually. I feel established too. Because back then I always had worries. I need to build this department, do that, do this, do that, do this, do that. So we now reach a point where it's pretty much established and we can keep on moving forward.
Yeah.
So the whole work, this year work was mainly internal work. Like we didn't even get the chance to properly think because weekly payout is something we brought in, payday, etc. We innovated a lot in the industry too, from that perspective too. Good. But we didn't even get the chance to properly think about external growth this year. All the work was just like internally. Because we had to become better for the firm, for the traders, You can't just disappoint your traders as well too. You can't disappoint yourself too. So the whole work was just internally. Till now, actually, it's internal work. Making sure you really get the best possible experience in the trading industry. That's why I'm proudly can say I have 0 payout denials. Like 0. And that's what we aim for. It's just keeping things smooth in the best possible way. Because if it's not smooth for you, it's not smooth for me. And then it's a hassle for us. Then that small thing will take us 48 hours to fix. And that will stack another work on us, blah, blah, blah. So you just like, you catching up. So at this point, we're not catching up with nothing. We're like way far ahead with operations too. Above capacity, so alhamdulillah.
Let's take a break for a minute there, guys, because I want to tell you about one of our sponsors, Alpha Capital. Now, without our sponsors, it's not possible for us to host such incredible podcasts around the world and get the level of guests that we are getting. So again, thanks to Alpha Capital for sponsoring the podcast. Now, Alpha Capital is one of the best prop firms in the industry. So far, this year alone, they have done over $50 million in payouts, which is absolutely incredible. They have the very best infrastructure in place for longevity from an in-house broker, so they can offer the very best trading conditions and platforms that all traders love to use. They're still able to offer services to the US as well, so the US traders can still trade with them on particular platforms. They have institutional experience, so they know how to manage a prop firm correctly and have such an incredible team on hand. On top of which, they have both a pro and swing plan. So depending on your style and strategy, you can choose which one is best for you. Now you can use and get the highest discount available at anywhere using Riz25. So that's RIZ25 for 25% off all challenges. The link's in the description below. So let's get back to the episode.
Without people to either abuse a system or people to cheat, or even with me, it's like people to hate, if you will. It's like you said earlier, like constructive feedback in a sense.
Yeah.
So like, yes, you don't love those people, you don't like those people, like it's not a good thing what they've done, but at the end of the day, you get to learn from it because now you've seen maybe a vulnerability they're trying to attack.
And that is it's
We
so much-
actually one of the strictest firms in the industry. Ever since we became commercial, we so strict. We're the ones who invented the whole in review phase. Once you pass phase 1, phase 2, you go in review for 2 days, and that's when we check you out. And even with these 2 days, you beat us. That means that you respect again for you, and you're smart. You need to get smarter. And actually, thanks to these people, we built policies. We established proper procedures to. We modified our systems, our technology got better. So they're good. They're good for the industry. Yeah, they take your money, but still, that's the cost of learning. Literally learning. You're learning. The same with HFT and arbitragers, where like back in the days in the FX space, like financial markets in general. That's how the industry got smarter too. You get smarter with all of that. And come on, it's my right to deny your payout. But I'm an ethical person. I don't see it as a right for me. Although it's my right. But I don't see it as the right thing to do. It's just, like when you have bounty hunters, like all of these people who try to hack your system, etc., etc., they come to you, like, we found this gap, we found this blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It's the least you can give them a reward to. In this case, you're traders, They found gaps in your system, and they taken the payouts.
Yeah.
I don't really see it as good as paying these people. Else, sorry, you as a firm suck. You don't have proper operations and procedures, policies in place to prevent that from happening from the beginning too. And thanks to these people, you're actually getting better too. So that's just the cost of it too.
Well, what I was going to say is, off the back of what you originally said, is like it's a growth mindset into thinking that way, because you're thinking about how can I grow from this situation, rather than like how do I try and essentially, even though it's your right to deny it, which then causes you more headache anyway, and then you're not focused on actually what is the thing I can learn from this, what is the thing that's going to help me to grow from this.
It's same as punishment. I don't believe in punishment. It doesn't make sense. You can teach somebody a proper lesson in proper manner. Actually, the toughest lessons I've learned is like through respectfully learning that lesson. Like literally being communicated properly with me. All that. Just like cracking that person in front of you through proper communication. So I really have nothing else to add on that, because it's nonsense. It's just a headache. And as you mentioned, you're already losing the focus from the point itself. And you're drifting. You're going with all of that nonsense on the internet, PR, etc., etc. So instead of you thinking, okay, how did he do that? No, okay, please, okay, let's find a common ground. Delete that post. No. Let's talk whatever. Say whatever you want. Just say whatever you want. You rather just like be focused on what matters.
Yeah.
What matters is the firm, the traders, and since the traders matters, the firm matters, because like a sustainable floating firm will always take care of its traders too. So it's both ways too. So you just keep focused on the target.
So as you mentioned as well, it's like it's not nothing new. It's been happening in the brokerage space, even to this day. It probably still happens.
Too.
Casinos,
Gambling industry.
Yeah.
Come on, gambling industry.
I think anything which is like high stakes, money involved, there's always going to be people who try and cheat a system, because it's natural to their need and want to make quick and easy money.
Correct.
And I think people forget that. Even I forgot that when you mentioned it. I was thinking like, wait, it doesn't happen
It's just a
everywhere.
natural thing.
Yeah.
That's how systems get smarter. That's literally how systems get smarter.
What do you think in terms of like running a prop firm? There's always a lot of the time sort of a divide. There's the prop firm and what they know, and then there's the traders and then what they know and their perception of a prop firm. What do you think like they could gain insight from this conversation that would be beneficial to them in terms of what it takes to operate a prop firm, run a prop firm, or anything that you think that would be interest to them?
You just knowing that running such a business and keeping it up is not an easy job. Literally. The rest is nothing actually of an interest for you. Unless you work for a prop firm. Same as brokers, same as dealing desks, same as hedge funds. You already know what they give you out there. you don't know more about the insights too. Correct, because like the insights or the insides of that, they're costly lessons. Like you got hit heavily to learn these lessons. It costed you money, health, stress, resources to learn all of these lessons. So it's not to be given out like literally like that, but it takes a lot of efforts and work, resources to keep such a business growing too, and floating, growing too. Else you can just like shut down too.
Yeah, I think it's important to note that actually, because I think, again, kind of going back to what we were saying, like most traders just have assumptions, or the community has assumptions that, running a prop firm is easy. That's why so many people do it. And
No, not really, man. Let's talk about something really silly. Discounts.
Yeah.
A 10% discount, that's a really 10% direct impact on your revenue. So margins, it's math, it's numbers. That's it, numbers. Just like you need to have common sense when it comes to numbers. You need to know how to run math and how to run statistics too. Good. So it really takes loads of effort and work to build a prop firm to a sustainable level and an established level too. And it just work in progress too. You can't neglect that afterwards too. Because again, it's an organization too. And funding pips is not $40,000 establishment as well. I mean, we paid our traders more than what? Plus $80 million. We're not a small firm, and we're 2 years old too, I have plus 117 employees. I have a full floor here, full of employees. And not just like support, whatever, like respect all of my people too. But you have high key individuals on the floor too. So it's organization, like it's a proper operating business too. And to establish all of that takes loads of efforts, resources, hard work too, and smart work as well. It's not just hard work. You need to be intelligent with the way you work. And at the same time, ethical and with values too. It's not easy, It's just running a business in general is not easy. It's not for everyone too. A freaking supermarket is not for everyone. Not everyone is built to be a business owner or whatever, It's stress. I swear, it's stress. Like, you think, like, yeah, when I got shut down in February, I was like, smoking a cigarette, drinking coffee, yeah, okay, whatever. No. It's stressful. It's not easy, It's not easy, but we're in love with the process.
Yeah.
We're literally in love with the process. And that's the key point that people should actually learn about the industry is like the people running the firm and what kind of establishment is that and who are behind this firm too as well too, and what is the size. In this case, size matters in all directions actually. It's a proper establishment too. Like we have proper departments in all directions as well. I mean, like what? In February, I didn't even have 10% of that. I'm not kidding.
Was it because more so you were doing it yourself at the time beforehand?
Let's take a break for a minute there, guys, because I want to tell you about the best trading tool on the market, TradeZeller. The reason why TradeZeller is the #1 trading tool that every trader needs is because you can do backtesting, automated journaling, trade replay, in-depth analytics, and so much more. And the greatest part about TradeZeller is that it's all automated. All you have to do is connect your MT4 and MT5. It will pull all your data onto the dashboard. You can add playbooks. You can just add notes. You can add images from your trades, and you can get the insights that is necessary for you to progress as a trader. Now, TradeZeller is for absolutely everyone. Whether you're a crypto trader, whether you're a Forex trader, whether you trade prop firms, it is for absolutely everyone. And that is why thousands of traders have signed up using my link here through the podcast. Make sure you use the code RIZ10 for 10% off your monthly subscription, or WOR for 20% off your yearly subscription. The link is in the description below. And let's get back to the episode.
Yeah, basically, man, I wanted to get better as a firm, not just as Khaled. No. The firm wanted the firm to be better. Like, your traders believe in you, your name everywhere, you know, you're just everywhere. You're doing your best. You're literally doing your best. And then you have problems. You have challenges. You want to solve all of that. And you need to grow for that. You literally need to grow for all of these things too, you know. So it's just the dynamic. It's just the dynamic of growth itself too. And then you need to build something which doesn't rely on you.
Yeah.
Correct. Because, okay, I built it to this level too. Correct. How can I maintain that and keep it running too, and then expand it, and then run multiple arms on it, etc., etc. So I need smart people in their places to do all of that. Correct. And that's yet another challenge, actually, finding all of these smart people with proper characters too, proper energies too, because they need to click with the culture I built too. You know, and we had instances where, like, even managing humans is not that easy job too. But then you learn the dynamics of them, and you learn how each character, etc., etc. You learn how to navigate all of that and how to deal with each one of them in a respectful way too. You know, so it's just freaking work in progress. I'm not kidding. Work in freaking progress.
Do you think that's something that most people just don't understand? Because even as traders, it's not a case where you suddenly one day become profitable and everything's so easy. You know, it's a constant evolvement as a trader. The markets evolve, the markets change, circumstances happen, etc. Business, no
work
different.
in progress again. Even as a trader, work in progress. I mean, some of the traders, they came and visited us. They didn't even understand the size of funding pips until they visited the office. And it was like, well, what is that? Are you guys kidding? You know, because it's the segment itself too. The way the prop space or the industry itself actually grew, came to this space, etc., to this level, etc., etc., etc. The way most firms are established, etc., etc. So people don't have the vision or the perspective of actually there are actually proper firms out there too. I'm not saying like there are not proper firms or whatever, but there are proper establishments out there too. And that's work in progress again too. It's same as you as a trader with your journey. Most of your trading journey is actually self-development and mental development too. You can be the best technical analyst out there with the best economists, studied in top tier freaking universities, whatever. Without proper mentality, you know, it's useless.
Do you find that in terms of the traders wise, is there any common themes you see amongst the traders who aren't seeing profitability?
Or they rush, man. It's just patience, you know. They don't. They lack it, but they will learn. It's part of the journey. Rushing things, etc., etc. You get slapped multiple times, over and over again. Some people they get slapped for a couple of months, some for a couple of years. But eventually you get tired of yourself, and you're like, it's either fuck this, I'm dropping this, I'm not doing this, or how on earth can I be better? So you reach that road. No? Yes, I want to be better. And that's when you became patient. That's when you start chilling, you know, waiting for things to come your way while you're reaching them to, you know, just like on the run.
Yeah.
You don't chase, you know. The energy itself don't click. If you chase something, it doesn't come towards you. But if you work for it, it comes. So it's work in progress, I get.
Yeah. No, but that's what I loved about this is that though we're talking about business, we're talking about funding pips, but we're talking about the principles that create success. You know, as you said, like that work in progress.
I don't like the word success. I don't really like the word success because success is debatable too. And it is different from one person to another person, and it's different. Each person got their own capacity and their own perspective of success. You know, I've seen so many successful people, but they are not rich. But they are chill. They have established life too. You know, they have that consistent, established, lovely life. You know, it's just like flawless. But then like that doesn't work for me. I need flow in there. You know, so it's not just the success, it's just like the inner satisfaction between you and yourself. You're looking at yourself, I'm satisfied. I'm good. I can take care of myself, my family, we're good. You know? So that direction, I'm fulfilling a purpose in life too. You know, often, actually all of our purposes in life is actually making life better. But the difference is in whatever we do in life. So you through your being an influencer, me through funding pips, X through whatever, like, so it's just making your life better too. So from there you can build on it more and more and more and more and more.
Definitely. What does the future look like, funding pips wise? What is it you can share with us in terms of what you guys have planned, what you're thinking of, whether it's funding pips? Is there any other projects on the horizon?
Knowing me out there in the industry, I'm not a chill guy. I like to work.
Yeah.
But you learn how to be chill, how to be discreet, but still working too. Correct. But what I can tell you, like, funding pips is not a 2 days company too. We're not built for that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're built to keep something rolling even after we're gone too. It's not just funding pips. It's what's around funding pips too. And again, funding pips is not just like an evaluation firm too. It's actually a group of companies. So I still work in progress again too. So definitely, like, there are things coming, Inshallah, things are gonna be better, get better too. So just like we'd rather be discreet.
Yeah. Just surprise the people.
Yeah, it's it's good.
Mm-hmm.
Surprises are good. I like surprises. Like positive surprises. Come on. Yeah.
Do you feel like that is almost an issue that we see in our space? It's kind of sometimes too much talking versus not enough action.
See, I used to talk too much, but I used to talk. What? Wait, I'm not a talker. I'm a walker too. So whatever I said, I did.
Yeah.
But I don't even know what's happening out there in the industry. Like, I know firms, what they're doing, etc. But like, I don't know what's happening on social media or who is saying that, who's saying that. I dropped all of that like long ago because it's not worth the energy anyways. It was nice me being around the community, etc. But it reached a point where I can't afford being out there. I need to focus on the 170 people I have inside. My operations. I need to focus on maintaining funding pips properly, operating and everything, doing their own job properly, etc. to correct. So too much talking, 100% too much talking. Humans in general, they tend to glorify themselves, which is a human act. It's a human act. But then actions speak louder too. I had so many of these in my life, so many of these coming and going, even in the industry. So many of these following me. I just work. I might interact with you a little bit, but I just mainly have a purpose in life. My purpose is making life better through whatever I do. Whatever I do is finance. At the moment, whatever I do, I'm doing funding pips. So irrelevant. If I interact with you, you're still irrelevant. Like, whatever, it's irrelevant. I only focus there. That's it. So too much talking too. And often when you talk to these people, they don't even know how to run a business properly. And they come to you later on, asking you for advices. Maybe they want to offer you some shares, whatever. And it's like the answer is always, thank you. I'm good where I am.
One thing you mentioned earlier, which I wanted to ask you on, which was most people can't run a business, shouldn't run a business, right?
No, not shouldn't. Can't. They can try. But then they can learn too.
Yeah.
So it's not that shouldn't. I'm not in a position where I'm entitled enough to tell you what to do and what not to do.
No, of course.
You're a man enough or a woman enough. You're responsible enough about your life to take decisions.
But the real truth is most find it very difficult, right? And most unfortunately wouldn't succeed at it because of how difficult trading, business, all of these things. They are only a few people will do it successfully. And what I was going to ask was what do you think it is about you that allows you to do it successfully? Have you always been this way, or was there a period of growth in your life where it pushed you into the person you've become to
it's a
manage
work in
such
progress.
chaos?
It's been always a work in progress. It's been always a work in progress. And one question: how can I be better? How can I get better? And you start from trading. You start getting better. And then if you're a good trader as well too, and you venture into business, etc., with good background, good education, etc., you already have the mental capacity to actually be tough in business and handle the stress coming from there. You know, so, but it's on a different scale too. It's not, you can't compare it 100% wise. It's on a different scale as well. Good. But it takes work there. Like you need to work on yourself, constantly work on yourself too. Because even when you grow, you're a leader of 20 people. You're not the same as a leader of 117 too. So you need to become better as a person too. Communicate properly too. You know, communicate properly with your employees. It's not like, being respectful. No, communicate the macros, the micros, the goals, the direction of the company properly too. You know, so it's as simple as that too. So it's the work in progress. And you say it, you know, like once you reach the most or whatever, you know, like if you reach a certain level, you get comfortable, you relax. And then you get slammed too. And it happened to me many times back in the days too, and I learned. I'm a quick learner, and I learn from my mistakes too. So I don't want things to repeat. I can't be in a loop. And that's part of what actually made me profitable in trading. Is at some point like, how can I break this freaking loop? Like if I look at myself, because I was looking at things from a different scope back then too. You know, when I approached trading, I was studying back then mechanical engineering, then I dropped out and I studied accounting, then I dropped. So I changed multiple majors in uni till I reached finance and economics. It's like, okay, this is what I want. And then even I took it in a different approach. The whole journaling was observation. So which comes from statistics too. Like I'm observing my behavior, not my trading. Not like where I took the entry. No. I closed that trade. I rushed that trade. Okay, why? I kept just digging inside me, you know. Keep just digging internal work till I reached the understanding that I do have a hella pattern out there. It's a work. That's a work, you know. It's work. It just, and often it's what's inside reflects what's outside too. So you need to work on yourself. You keep working on yourself, and you're not the best man out there. You're not perfect again. You're not but we on our way seeking perfection.
Yeah.
How to do that? You need to be reflective. You need actually to even be reflective. You need to be responsible too. You need to be able to take accountability and responsibility too. That's one. And if you're that person, you'll be reflective. You be reflective, then you have the acceptance ability and the realization too. Because you reflect, you realize things, then you accept them, then you work on them. And that's challenging to your human nature in general.
It is true. I see over here you have loads of books on your shelves.
Yeah, I read. I read a lot.
Yeah. Can you tell us one book that really stands out to you? I know
100%, yeah. And I would advise anyone like to read it. Outwitting the Devil. I read that book when I was 20, and it flipped my mind. It challenged my whole belief system. Yeah, it's Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. That's the best book ever you can read. And from there, you'll venture into loads of things.
Yeah.
And my favorite authors are actually Robert Greene and Napoleon Hill too.
Really?
Yeah, because it's just a human nature too. You know, it really excites me, you know, when challenging your belief system too. And mostly, challenging whatever triggers your belief system is you'll be afraid of it. It triggers you. You know, you'll be super defensive towards it. And I like it. When something challenges my belief system, I like it. Like, why? Why did it trigger? As I start digging in there, you know, and then I get myself in a rabbit hole and whatever. And then you get out of it. It's just like
a fantastic book though. Napoleon Hill, so ahead of his time as well. Yeah, wrote those books in the early 1900s.
Yeah, and the family
released them later,
the family released it later on after he died because he was afraid of publishing it actually.
Because a lot of things he talked about then is so relevant, even if anything, more relevant now, especially Outwitting the Devil. He talks about like the cigarettes, the diets, our attention, where we're putting all our thoughts. Yeah.
Education system.
Yeah.
Religion, etc.
And the way he wrote that, in particular, that book is incredible. Yeah?
It's crazy. Yeah, like he's interviewing the Lucifer, you know, the devil, you know. It's just like you think like, how on earth this guy was so sane, you know? Like, I don't think he was sane. Most probably he was on shrooms or something. Try such a book, but it's like, no.
It's possible. We'll never know.
I also think the devil, you know. And that's actually where I learned the word or the terminology drifting.
Yes. That's a great concept.
Yeah, for me back then, drifting was like the car.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to drift back then too. It's like drifting is the car.
You were drifting the other day. I saw a video. Yeah.
I love this. I love. Oh man, like I love my man activity. Like it's
Just like you've been hiking recently.
Yeah,
that,
these are my
shooting.
activities. Shooting actually and drifting are my main activity. And racing.
Incredible.
They are like my main activity ever since I was a kid. And through time, I abandoned most of the things to just mainly focus on life, work, build.
You're bringing it back.
Yeah, but then you feel lost.
Yeah.
And if you feel lost, you need to reconnect with
those things.
What makes you like? What makes you who you are? What you love? What you like? Because a man without a hobby will get lost.
Mm-hmm.
Will literally get lost. You're going to drift. You're going to drift to the other side. And I'm not a party guy. I'm not all of this. You know, I like proper quality time where I don't think about nothing, but at the same time I'm enjoying. Like I have my adrenaline popping up. Like I'm an adrenaline junkie. I have adrenaline popping up. You know, so those are my things. So back then, drifting was just like for me drifting. You know? I was like, what does he mean? So I read more and I was like, shit. So it's the same actually, but like I'm drifting in life.
It's very true. And again, like, so even though he wrote that 100 years plus ago, it's so relevant
so
now.
Relevant.
Yeah.
So relevant. I would say so relevant for the next couple hundred years.
Yeah, probably forever.
Yeah, I actually call it my Bible. Like if someone always like, hey, recommend me a book or something. Yeah, okay, this is my Bible. Actually, I love reading till the point I established my own system of reading. So it's like, because often most books, like 70% of the content is nonsense. Yeah. It's just like there to fill pages. You know? Yeah. So it's like, how can I get rid of that? So I found a way to how to get rid of that. I start reading more and like,
what's the way?
Yeah, and I like to understand. I can't memorize. I can't really memorize.
Okay, yeah.
Like history, I used to suck in that. You know, I can't memorize, so I need to understand. So I built a system for myself. Like after a while of years of reading, I've established a system for myself, how to get a breakdown of what's relevant, what's important in that book, etc., etc. And then those breakdowns, you'll just like reference them in each chapter, each page, etc., etc. You write your notes, and then what's relevant from these pages, these chapters, you'll just listen to it. That will get stuck in your head. You'll learn something out of it. You'll learn something out of anything. Like you just can't learn out of a freaking kid. How the kid is just enjoying their time without even thinking about nothing. Definitely. So here we are. We're drifting, man.
We're drifting now. Khaled, I really appreciate you hosting us here and sharing so much with us.
Yeah,
very insightful.
Man. Well, should I put your name here?
Please do. I don't want this. I don't have that. But no, I really appreciate it, honestly. And welcome, it was very insightful. And I'm sure, and I know the audience will agree as well. Drop a comment with your biggest takeaway from this episode. Links, if you have any links, will be in the description below.
Yeah, just funnypips.com.
There you go. It'll be in the description below. And there'll be other episodes on screen right here. Hit subscribe. And until next time, everyone, take care.